Throughout history, folklore has given a voice to our fears. I'm Aaron Mahnke. And this is lore.
This demon that keeps reaching back from the grave to feast on the blood of the loved one.
I'm not a changeling. I'm the woman you married.
In the name of the Father, I command you, tell us your name!
Any questions about the procedure?
There exists a life after this one, and that we can return.
Robert is real, and he doesn't like it when you scold me.
I know exactly what you are! Be gone from this house!
Oh, this is exciting. Exciting live audience.
He's known for so much more, but I gotta say, the T-1000 himself is in the house. Give it up.
Thank you.
What's that like? I mean, you obviously...
Be the T-1000?
Yeah.
It's a heavy responsibility.
With great
It's
power.
a very heavy responsibility. No, it's a role that I'm, obviously it gave me my entire career. Yeah. I was a total unknown when I was cast, which was, unbeknownst to me at the time, is exactly what James Cameron was looking for. Originally, the role was going to be Billy Idol, and he had a motorcycle accident, so he couldn't do the role. And Jim, I think, decided that, I've got the opportunity to cast an unknown guy. No one will have a preconceived notion of who he is, so they will accept the T-1000 when they see it in the theater. And that's pretty much what happened. Everybody was like, who the hell is that guy? And they bought it. And the T-1000 is way more famous than I have ever become. And
I'm sorry that Billy Idol got hurt, but for the better, to be honest.
Well,
I
appreciate that, Ricky.
I don't think I would have been able to watch that without hearing dancing with my,
Yeah. Well, it was interesting to me was going to Stan Winston right after I got cast and realizing they're going to put me through the manufacturing of all the animatronics that they had to create, and they had to use my face and the full cast and everything. But I could see some drawings that were like, hello there. I see some drawings from Billy in some of the forms that I was going to be. And that's when I realized that, possibly, a situation was created where I got to walk in and take the role from him.
Did you ever want to call him while you were
I
shooting?
met him.
Oh, did you thank him?
I met him at a party afterwards.
Thank you for being careless on your motorcycle.
Exactly. I met him at a party afterwards with, I'm going to name drop, with Timothy Leary was there.
What?
Mark Dupé from Industrial Light and Magic. Casey was there. Who else was there?
Timothy Leary, like the Timothy Leary?
Yes. And we were at this party, and I met Billy, and he let me know. Hey, mate. I can't do his accent very well, but yeah, he told me the whole story.
So let's talk about lore. This is a wildly successful podcast, like basically a phenomenon. How did you get involved? Who are you playing?
Well, lore came to me on my hiatus from Scorpion, my television show that I do for CBS. And I look for projects.
4 seasons strong.
Going into our fourth. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Scorpion fans. I look for stuff on my hiatus to do that are as far removed from that, to get me out of that space for a little bit and flex my muscles in different directions. And my agents brought to me lore, and they said, it's from Gail Ann Hurd, who produced Terminator and Terminator 2. She's the producer of The Walking Dead. So she's got excellent taste.
She produced Terminator, Terminator 2, and The Walking Dead.
Yes.
I want to see what her house looks like.
She's got a nice house. She's got a nice house. Very nice. But and Glenn Morgan from the X-Files, he was also involved with producing lore. And then I checked out Aaron. I really didn't know much about Aaron Mahnke because he's a new guy. He's 2.5 years he's been around with this podcast. and found out he had quite the following. And once I realized what they were going to try to do with this show, as you saw with the clip, they're using different media, and they're bringing it together, and they're giving the actor the opportunity to create the live part, the reenactment, or that part of the dramatic part of the story. But they're using other different media, cartoons, archival footage, stills, film, and they're using all those elements to convey the message. And it's really done very, very well. It's very creepy. My episode is about Ezekiel Phelps, who is a reverend, true story. His wife dies, and he hears about seances in the spiritual world, and he checks it out enough to where he understands that perhaps this is a way that I could actually prove the existence of God if there's a life after death. And I want to do it by communicating with my wife, and I want to just tell her one more time that I love her. So it was as far from Cave Gallo as I could get, and it was a great experience. Just putting on the wardrobe was great.
Well, so wait, what was the shooting like? Where you said that they let the actor sort of create the pretend version of it, and then they're using all these other mixed media.
Right.
I mean, what does the script look like when you go into it? Is that mixed media written into it?
It is.
You know?
It is, and it's very, and that was the best part about Rick, was when I was looking at it. It was like, okay, so we start telling this part of the story, and we're using this, and it's all in there in descriptive form. This stage direction, what that element's going to be. We cut to black and white footage from such and such, describing seances and this person. Then we cut to, now we're at 1840s, the Phelps house. And then we tell that portion of the story. So you're reading it and you're imagining what it's going to look like when it's all put together. And you got to really hope and pray that they put it together well. But
so
as I
cool.
said, with Glenn and Gail involved, I knew it was really going to be a high level project.
So now you're going into season 4, Scorpion. You guys are probably done shooting the first half of the season or something like that, I would imagine, at this
We
point?
are episode 9 right now. And for those of you Scorpion fans, and I see some here, some I know, Cave has been arrested. And they have taken his badge and his weapon and his identity, really, as the protector of the team, and he's no longer a Homeland agent. And the kids, the team, has to bail me out, and they do so by mortgaging Scorpion and put themselves in great debt. And this whole season is going to be labored with the fact that Cave no longer works. So we don't have the infrastructure of Homeland backing Scorpion anymore, and they've got to take certain jobs, and they don't have me really I can't protect them in the way I used to. It also creates an opportunity for me to look for a lawyer, which is disastrous. It's very funny. And then Sly, lo and behold, Sly's going to, I'm going to kind of spoil this for you, but Sly's going to come forward, and he's going to go after a law degree. And it's funny how he does that. And but they come to bat for me. We just shot right before I left, Wednesday when I left L.A. to come here. We were shooting the Thanksgiving scene. And as a result of all this trauma that Cabe's going through, he's doing therapy with Toby, the doctor, and he's unlocking some, it's funny stuff. He's unlocking some deep, dark, emotional things with Cabe, and it actually takes on a real poignancy. And it's quite profound to see what's actually been behind Cave for these 4 episodes.
Well, what's it like to, after having done a show for 3 seasons, and I guess the first season you're really establishing what that show is and who those characters are. The second season you can kind of play with them a little bit, but you're still sort of trying to throw more adventures at them. But you're moving into this season where they're giving you a real arc. They're giving you this big arc where you get to sort of explore the character even more and really build the character. What's that like? Did you know they were going to do that? Did they pitch it to you?
No, they just sort of started doing it. It just started happening. The show has really changed since when I originally signed on. Originally, it was a 1-hour drama, and it's just sort of become really it's a comedy. And
Do you think that's because you guys get along really well and
I
are
think
funny
so.
on set?
Yeah, I think that's what's happened. I think Nick Centura and Nick Wooten are both, they're fantastic showrunners. They're great writers, and I think the writers have picked up on the chemistry of the crew. I mean, of the cast, excuse me, the chemistry of the cast. And if you were to visit the Scorpion cast, sometimes it's very hard to get us to work because it's as if we're at like a cocktail party and we're all just, you know, we just want to hang out with each other and you know, talk. And it's interesting to see. I've never really been involved with such an ensemble like this, where we really genuinely enjoy each other's company.
When did you?
And that translates. I think that's the spark that makes it work for us on camera for the show.
When did you start to see that shift in the tone of the show?
It just sort of happened. I feel like it sort of started happening halfway through season 1, maybe. Season 2, it definitely, they were really, it was getting much funnier. And then, of course, season 3, I just felt like they were, everything was a setup for a one-line joke from me.
Which is
which was great, and I enjoyed it because the character when they gave me the role, it was similar to Ed Asner and Mary Tyler Moore show on the Lou Grant show, whatever. I can't remember if that was the name of the show, but he's a gruff, kind of salt of the earth guy on the exterior, but deep down inside, he's a warm and fuzzy kind of guy, and that's really what essentially I'm trying to do with Cabe. And hopefully that it's working for the audience. I don't know. You tell me.
Is it? There you go. Is it nice for you to get to do a little comedy?
Yeah.
I feel like I've never really seen you cast in a comedy before.
Well, I have done some comedies. Wayne's World, obviously.
Yes. Well, yes.
There was Striptease, which was a comedy. There was another one, and Identity Thief
right.
with Jason and Melissa. But no,
Fair enough.
But no, you are right. No, I just throw those out because a little bit, but not to the degree I'm doing it now. And I'm really having a lot of fun with it. It's actually made me think that there's other things going to be happening in my career down the road where I might be doing a little bit more of it.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, and I'm having a ball with it. I think Nick Wooten said, you know, who knew the T-1000 was funny? You know, that's one of my showrunners. So, you know.
I always thought the T-1000 was.
You thought he was humorous?
I thought it was a little humorous at times. Yeah.
I don't know. There was
always
much of a sense of humor with that guy. There was no real identity with that guy. I don't think it was he personally aware.
Well, he was. That's the thing. He wasn't personally aware, but he would do things like he was learning things about the human body for the first time. So when he pulls that guy's eye out, I think in the mental asylum.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
He kind of takes it out and goes.
Yeah.
Huh. Like that's what the body does.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's pretty true. But I didn't play that part. That was being
That's right.
played
That was the other
there was
guy.
another actor doing it.
Yeah, that's right.
The bum? What was he doing?
He was totally messing up.
He messed up the whole part.
Your character work.
I'm just kidding.
I think we have a clip from Scorpion that we're going to run. Yeah, let's roll.
Oh, we got Scorpion right there.
Everybody.
Look, we got the beautiful Kat McPhee, Eddie K. Thomas, Ari Stidham, Elias Gabel, Jaden Wong, and way over there
Who's
is
that guy?
Cabe Gallo. Behind the shades. Never mind my representation. You mind telling me how you guys came up with a $500,000 bail?
I dove into some savings.
I promised some online renters vintage bike parts at good prices.
Same here, except comics instead of motorcycle stuff.
You know those blank checks you get with your credit card bills?
So a loan for 19%.
19.5.
Mortgage on the business.
You put Scorpion up as collateral, the garage, everything?
It was either that or leave you in prison.
It was jail, not prison. I can handle myself.
You know, Cabe, you have a very weird way of saying thank you.
Listen to me next time, and then I'll thank you.
Don't argue with him. It was my fault.
Stop it right there.
You hesitated to release Collins. You knew it was breaking the law. I was the one who yelled at you to hurry up and do it.
When was the last time anybody convinced me to do something I didn't want to do?
Yesterday, when Walter got you to uncuff Collins. Weren't you just listening?
I take full responsibility. The buck stops here.
Is that why you told Allie not to call us machismo nonsense?
I didn't want to be a burden. Now I am.
Family's not a burden. What's a burden is crippling debt, so I took on a case while you were bailing Cabe out.
Without discussing it first?
Could be a year till we get Cabe's trial date, and we're waiting to hear from his lawyer. So in the meantime, while we're trying to keep Scorpion above water, we need to bail ourselves out of a $500,000 debt.
Unbelievable.
The client is Wildlife Animal Guardians. It's a charity, so it won't pay top dollar, but since we're currently at our bottom dollar, I suggest we get to work.
Let's hear it, guys. Clap.
Kids, you gotta love them.
Yeah, they've kind of become like your family, like your kids.
They are my family. They are my family. I love them all. And
like that offset or when you're on set as well?
It is. You can get frustrated with some of them from time to time. You can get a little angry with them from time to time. But for the most part, they're your family, you know. And,
so we've talked about Scorpion. I think we should talk about, you produced and you star in a movie that just came out this year, about a month ago.
yes, it's called Last Rampage. It's the true story. It's a true crime story about Gary Tyson, who escaped from prison in 1978 in Arizona with the help of his three teenage boys. Heather Graham is my wife. Bruce Davison is the sheriff that comes after me. And it's such a tragic story of one man's quest for freedom and the betrayal and family ties. It was really, really fascinating. It was given to me by Dwight Little, who has worked with me on some other projects in the past. Written by Alvaro Rodriguez, who I also worked with on From Dusk Till Dawn, Robert Rodriguez's cousin. And they came to me on a hiatus, 2 hiatuses ago, and offered this up. And just like I was mentioning with Lore, I looked for other things that were going to take me far away from Cape Gallo. And this couldn't be any further away than it is. It's the most evil guy I've ever played in my life. And, you know, it really freaked my wife out when she saw it. And I have some friends that were very disturbed by it when they saw it. And he's the devil. And he's walking Earth. And it really happened.
What made you want to play that part?
The darkness of it. The human beings, I mean, we're capable of such horrible things. And I think we're all very aware of that, especially in the news lately. We're fascinating, and I'm fascinated by what makes people do what they do. And I think as an actor, you know, it's your job to get in there and try to make some sort of sense of it, if that in itself makes sense. But it's fascinating to me.
When you go that dark or that deep into a really dark character, are you thankful that you're sort of at a point in your career where you kind of know how to pull yourself back out of these people?
Oh God,
you're
yeah.
Very, you know, you've had enough time to not feel like trapped in a character or go method about it.
Absolutely. No, early on when you're starting, you feel like you must be a method actor. It's just like you must be a starving artist. You know, you have to be. It's the only way it's going to matter at all. You know. But slowly but surely you realize that it's just acting. And it really comes down to you just being able to convince yourself to believe the situation that you're in. It is kind of scary that Gary Tyson, I could put him on so easy. Yeah. But I do know people like this. And I've met people like this. And there's a certain brutality that I don't think we feel in our everyday society right now anymore. But back in the 70s was still there, and it was still apparent. I actually kind of liken this character similar to Ray Cash. There was a certain brutality to Ray Cash, Johnny Cash's father, and it was just the way of the times. It was a sign of the times. So I sought this out, and when I got the chance to produce it, I was able to invite my brother on to do the score, and I thought he was perfect to do the soundtrack.
For those of you who don't know, his brother is Richie Patrick of the band Filter, and prior to that, 9 Inch Nails. He's a very successful recording artist.
Very successful, multi-platinum recording artist, and he's at a point in his career too where he's trying to do things, diversify a little bit, and find different ways to be creative. And I've been telling him for years, you should score movies. And I was very proud that I was able to present him one of his first opportunities. He's done another movie with Jim Carrey that he does the sound. He's doing another one for me right now, though. That I actually recommended him for a film that Bobby Roth directed that I did just this past hiatus, and he's doing the score for that one as well. But what was interesting was my brother wrote 2 songs, and when one of them is in the movie, but he came to me right before the soundtrack was released, and he said, I want you to sing this song. And so he took me to a recording studio, and I got in there with Bob Marlette and I sang a song, and I've released the song, and I'm proud to say that you can buy it. It's on iTunes, and it's pretty cool, and I think we're going to do a whole album together.
You and your brother?
Yeah.
So you and your brother work very well together.
We are very much like the Team Scorpion. You know what I mean? I mean, we get along, and then we don't get along. And I don't think my brother would mind me saying that. I mean, I love him dearly, but He can upset me, and I can upset him.
Well, that's what family does.
That's what family does. But I do have the utmost respect for my brother. I think he's an incredibly talented artist, and I am thrilled that he wants to work with me.
So it's gonna be like the Patrick Brothers, like instead of
know
the
what we're
Bacon
gonna
Brothers,
do.
the Patrick Brothers.
No, I don't think we're going to come up with a name. I think that's a great name for the Bacon Brothers. I think we're gonna do something a little different. It's different music from my brother that we're doing. I mean, the song we released it's like a Southern rock. It's got a Leonard Skinner feel.
Well, both of you guys are originally from Georgia, right?
Well, he was born in Boston.
He was born in Boston. Oh, excuse me.
My father was going to MIT in 1968. He got a scholarship to go to MIT. Richie and my sister Sherry were born in Boston. I'm born and raised primarily in Atlanta, Georgia, Marietta, Georgia. So yeah, I'm real close to the country music.
Because his background musically is not anything like Southern rock. I mean, he's like 16 in industrial bands in Cleveland.
He's all into Skinny Puppy.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he might have been the guy to introduce Skinny Puppy to Trent Reznor, to be honest with you, in Ministry. I mean, Richie was listening to all that stuff before.
You can swear, it's cool.
I don't know where I'm at anymore, and I'm afraid to say something too bold. Yeah, he was into all that, and
did you
it's
ever
funny.
get into that?
I think I was telling you that I used a lot of that music, Skinny Puppy and Nine Inch Nails. I was using that as like a soundtrack to train to while I was doing Terminator 2.
Oh, I use that at the gym now.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
right?
it's really good stuff.
Head like a hole.
The early albums really gets you going at the gym.
Yeah.
So you were a fan of you're from the South, you're Southern rock, you talk about now, but you were a fan of the industrial music of that time?
Yeah, because of Richie. I mean, I'm 10 years older than Richie, but I used to have music that I gave him that I listened to, and then he started giving me music that I listened to. We're both, funny enough, we grew up around music because my father was a trumpet player before he took the vocation he did to raise us, but... So there is music in the air. We have aunts and uncles that do music. I have a cousin that does music. So it's been around. But Richie's doing a fantastic job doing these scores for us now, and I wish him the best with all this.
That's so cool. Let's get some questions from the audience right here.
Hello.
By the way, thank you all for being here. I got to tell you, man, if you were to walk in here and there's nobody here, it's not a good thing, Rick.
You wouldn't let that happen.
It's not a good thing.
Hello, Robert. One of your Twitter followers, and I
you.
said no sugar.
No sugar.
No sugar from Striptease. I have to say, you actually had a cameo in a Guns N' Roses video for T2 for You Should Be Mine, if I remember correctly.
That is correct. Well, there was a cameo as the T-1000. Yeah. So they took footage that they own of me and put it in that I had no choice. Okay. And I'm thrilled to be in it because I love Guns N' Roses. By the way. Have you seen them on tour? They're on tour right now.
I have not seen them yet.
Oh, they're on tour
yet.
It's a fantastic show.
Awesome.
They're so great.
My question for you, it seems you do enjoy comedy now, doing comedy, and of course you have your background in drama. You've done TV. You've had a lot of success in movies. What about doing theater? We're here in New York. Have you thought about Broadway?
I have, and my early start in Los Angeles, one of the first things that I did was a play, and then I did one other play after that. My problem has always been economics. I haven't really had a lot of money, so when I got to Hollywood, I was living in my car, and I did everything I could to figure out how to get out of my car and get going with my career. And for me to take the time out of my money-making ventures to plug into doing a theatrical run, I'm going to take a hit economically. Not that I wouldn't want to do it. I would very much like to do it. So, and I'm not dead yet, so we're just going to keep going.
Next
right?
Question? Do it. Right there.
Hey, Robert. You and your brother Richard, you seem like a couple of guys who like to go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
Could you maybe tell us about one of your adventures?
Oh, my brother and I, one of our adventures. Oh, my gosh. I don't know if I really want to go into that. They involve fights and people getting smashed in the face, and my sister's wedding, and my brother cold cocking this guy, and the door of my hotel being broken open by hotel security looking for my brother. You ever saw the movie Very Bad Things that Peter Berg directed, wrote and directed? Peter Berg, you know, the guy that does the face fall off the balcony into the glass cocktail table and all the other people are sitting around? That was my brother in real life. I was there. Davis Guggenheim, well, I don't want to name all the people that were there, but it was a real bachelor party. My brother really did a stage dive from a balcony into a glass coffee table. And it was the damnedest thing I ever saw. Needless to say, my parents, well, my mother's still alive. My family are very proud that he and I are both sober and no longer partaking in the party elements. Things get a little out of hand for the Patrick brothers.
How long have you been sober?
21 years.
21 years.
It is something to be very proud of. I appreciate that very much. It's something to be proud of.
Was there something that led you to become sober, or was it just kind of like I'd rather not drink anymore?
I was aware that I had something going on that was a little beyond recreational usage and a lot of different things, and it felt like it was holding me back. But it was my wife, whom I've been with since 1984, that suggested to me I might want to take a look at some of the things I was doing. When I basically asked her, we're going to have kids. She said, I'm not having a kid with you. You're crazy.
Good woman.
You got to rein it in a little bit, buddy. If you can rein it in a little bit, maybe. Yeah. So, and as a result of getting sober, I got 2 beautiful kids.
All right.
Austin Patrick and Sammy Patrick. Jesus, I feel like I'm getting really deep here right now. It's a therapy session in front of about 40 people, 50 people.
Do you want to do one more question?
How are we doing, by the way? She's doing a great job over there.
Hi. I have a couple questions. So
I got to get shorter answers.
Okay. So since you're on 2 different shows, is it hard to play 2 different characters sort of uniquely, or like jump from one character to another? And second question is, since Schwarzenegger and now Linda Hamilton are returning to the Terminator franchise, would you go back to it too?
Absolutely, I would love to go back there. I don't know what I could do. I can't do the T-1000 again. I mean, if I did the T-1000, it'd be a 58-year-old T-1000. Who the hell wants to see that, right? I can kind of go in and out of characters. I can tell you stories where I've played 3 different characters in a 24-hour span in my career. Literally, I went from one pilot to the next pilot, and walked across the parking lot to a 3rd pilot, and did 3 characters in 24 hours. It's crazy. I enjoy acting very much, and I don't really seem to have a real problem making the shift. And I can let go of characters pretty quick, and at least I think I can. And I love doing it. I'm very, very fortunate that I get to do what I get to do. As I saw Harrison Ford's picture in here. Harrison and I did a movie called Firewall a few years ago, and we were at dinner, and we were both discussing it. Really is a craft. I mean, it's a craft you get better at. It's like learning how to build houses. You get better and better and better and better.
And getting better and better is about also getting more and more comfortable, right? It's like part of the craft is like, yeah.
Exactly, Ricky. Confidence is everything, and you talk to people, and they ask you about your process, and it really is giving yourself enough information and doing enough preparation to give yourself that confidence just to be free and forget everything that you've prepared and studied, to just be there and be in the moment. And that's something that takes a while to know that you can rely on. Yeah. But I'm getting very, very comfortable, but yet I still feel like my best work's ahead of me, and I can't wait to see what I do. I mean, even singing in this song for my brother and releasing this single, it's not something I thought I was ever going to do, and it just sort of presented itself. And now I really like it, and I want to pursue it, and I want to write some more songs. And, maybe I want to do a 1 hour or half an hour situation comedy down the road, or maybe I want to come do theater in New York, and or that was you. And, so the possibilities are endless. I'm just glad I'm getting them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, Scorpion. What night is Scorpion on again?
Monday nights, 10 o'clock.
Sorry.
8 o'clock Central. 8 o'clock Central. 9 o'clock Central.
Oh, thank you. Our Scorpions right here. Thank you.
There you are. Look at those guys. They're fantastic.
And,
Really
Last
happy.
Rampage, people can see it.
Last Rampage, wherever you watch movies that are being streamed, it is playing in some theaters here in New York and Manhattan somewhere. It's been in select theaters across the nation. iTunes, wherever you get a movie on demand.
And Laura's coming to Amazon on
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Nice.
Ooh, 6 more of the very terrifying episodes coming right to you. You can binge watch them on that day.
Guys, the legendary Robert Patrick. Let's hear it.
Thank you.
Let's hear it.